Welcome to a second helping of the Rant for May 11th, 2008. I'm John Shannon. Um, Man, I caught a little bit of heat, I think, on this earlier rant I made today, so I'm going to do something a little out of the ordinary and actually address the commentary that was on my earlier rant. Um, I want to, first off, I want to say, to the guy that uh, thanks me for my eighth grade education. Bozo, get it right. It's 10th grade education. And um, while I am not book smart by any stretch of the imagination, I've learned more out here on the streets driving cab in the last 27 years than I believe your ass will ever know. So, you know, drop the condescending shit. All right. Thank you. To my friend Witsky Man, who brings up a very good point, and I want to address that. You know, he asks, do I feel the widows of the people who jumped out of those buildings deserve a full investigation? Um, and my answer to that is they do deserve a full investigation. I, however, think that that investigation has already culminated, and for that matter, has finished. In my opinion, and I stick to this opinion, that those folks, unfortunately, in those upper floors above where the planes hit, were doomed once those planes hit. You know, I don't think that I don't think there was any way of saving those people once the planes hit. I mean, excuse me. I mean, even go back to watching movies like the Towering Inferno. Anybody remember that from back in the 70s when there was a fire on the kind of in the mid-level floors of a high rise tower. Um, the fact of the matter is those planes blew a hole, at least 3 to 4 stories high in those towers, and I can't begin to imagine a way that once there was that impact, that there was going to be any way to save those people. And I still stick by my feeling that when that plane knocked out those center support beams for several stories there, that it was just inevitable that the building was going to collapse into itself, and that's what it did. But you know, let's also remember something here. You know, you want to talk about full investigations. I don't hear anybody screaming for full investigation of how these terrorists got on these planes to begin with, to tell you the truth. I mean, we're supposed to have such advanced screening, and I realize since 9/11 that screening has gone up quite a bit. But I mean, you still played hell getting onto planes, with metal objects and what have you. So I'm not sure how these guys got onto planes to begin with. Because what about the widows and the loved ones of the people that were riding those planes? And I haven't heard that same outcry. So I just think it's important to understand who the enemy is here. I don't like the Bush administration any more than any of my other friends and people who are on the moderate to left side of the aisle here. Um, I can't wait till he gets out of office. I can't wait until we get a president who isn't so inflammatory, so isn't isn't quite so inflammatory towards the rest of the world. Um, and I don't even think his father, um, I think George Bush Senior, I think he did the right thing when it came to Iraq, getting Iraq out of Kuwait, but he didn't try to overthrow the regime of the uh, Iraqi government. He didn't try to overthrow Saddam Hussein, and what George Bush Jr. has done um, in his policies, and I just, I hate to say it, but I think that I almost have to lean a little bit towards old Reverend Wright's speech here. I hate to say, but you know what really happened there, and I don't agree with these people, but if you look at it from their perspective, yeah, it has been our policies towards the Middle East and our constant uh, influence in that area that has had some people, some very radical, very you know, unstable people feeling that that this was the only way that they were going to try to get us, the United States, out of their area and out of their region. Um, and I hope that whoever's president next, hopefully Obama can go over there and say, okay, there has to be some middle ground here, and it's going to be a tough job because all those people know how to do is fight. Unfortunately, they're willing to die for what they believe in, and we're a little bit more civilized over on this side of the world. And now I'm getting off on a rant, and I'm sorry about that, but all I'm saying is we have to know who the enemy is, and to those that think it's our government, I think I really think you need to put down the conspiracy novels and get to reality. Um, I feel bad for the people, for the loved ones of the people who died that day, but for anybody to think that our government had anything to do with it, I really think is just reaching for straws. And I apologize, but that's how I feel. And that's all I have for that. Thanks for your comments, good and bad. Um, I'll catch you the next time around. Until then, this is John Shannon, the Redneck Cabbie. Adios.